At a Washington conference on extremism last week, President Obama claimed the world's terror threats were not rooted in Islam. But at another conference in Colorado, Christians and Jews heard a different message: to stand firm in the face of growing persecution and violence. John Woggy has more.
The president sees the terrorist threat as a law enforcement problem, a battle with difficult rogues of all faiths, not a civilizational war.
The notion that the West is at war with Islam is an ugly lie. And all of us, regardless of our faith, have a responsibility to reject it.
But his remarks come as much of the globe is engulfed in a growing flood of hatred for Jews and persecution of Christians, much of it coming from the Muslim world. That includes terror groups like ISIS, who have founded an Islamic empire, and Iran, whose leaders have preached the extermination of Israel for decades. One Jerusalem pastor, Wayne Hillsden, says Christians and Jewish believers in Jesus must speak up and brace for fierce opposition.
How many of you know that the more hatred comes against the Jewish people, those who stand with them in their time of trouble will also be hated? We will also be slandered. We will also be lied against and falsely accused. It just goes with the package.
At a summit this month in Colorado, Hillsden launched a group called FIRM, the Fellowship of Israel-Related Ministries. The goal is for believers to learn from the book of Daniel, to be aware of the times we're in, and to take a stand, regardless of what it costs, and to do it in love.
This is one of the most intimidating times in history, when the attacks of the enemy can spread like wildfire around the world and never eradicated. And when we are attacked, we will be tempted to attack our accusers in return. But when we stand firm, let us be like Daniel and not return evil for evil. Let's love our enemies.
Messianic Jewish leader Jonathan Bernis says fundamental Islam is the carrier of the new anti-Semitism, and Christians won't be spared in the spiritual battle that is upon us.
I think that the answer for the Muslim world is the same as the answer for the Jewish world, and his name is Yeshua, Jesus.
The leaders say there's a special calling for young people who respond better to support of Israel and the Jews when they understand the character of God's name is at stake.
Because God's covenant endures forever. Because God's covenant is everlasting. Because He's a faithful God. Because the calling and the gifts of God are irrevocable. That's why we